Hello, pastors. There's a mistake that we often make that no one wants to discuss or talk about. It's a mistake that we make probably unconsciously, but it needs to be discussed. It happened to Moses. It happened to other great men. One of the things that is not discussed is that we can always expect our parishioners to have the same type of excitement. You should expect it, but nobody will have excitement about the vision that God gave you like you will. Now, I'm not saying that you can't impart that, because after a while, the folks that you pastor should be able to receive the impartation of the vision that God gave you, and they should rally around you and be excited about what God is doing in you and through you in the ministry. Of course, it's not about us as pastors. It's about us taking what God has given us and pouring it into the sheep. It's about taking what God's given us. God has given us blueprints from heaven, if you will. And we must build by design what the kingdom of God has given to us to build in the earth. That's a part of vision. But many times we get upset because, like Moses, we go on top of the mountain and we come down with our face lit up. And we don't understand that sometimes the folks you come down off the mountain to come minister to won't always understand why you so lit. Now, granted, when Moses came off the mountain, the folks that he was pastoring were doing some horrid things. Okay, that's a given. They were being deceived. They were having orgies. They're doing a lot of crazy stuff, and they paid the price for it. But the principle is in the story. Many times when God calls you up, pastor, and he gives you revelation, gives you insight, when you come down from that place, you can't always expect your people to understand where you are. Many of them will. You got some people that will be on your A team, if you will, that understand what God's giving you and understand that God is giving you a strong word, strong vision, and they'll rally behind you. But even those people sometimes won't always understand your zeal and your excitement. And nobody talks about the fact that you can't get mad and whip the sheep because they don't always get excited about the things that excite us. Sometimes God revives us. Sometimes God pours into us and he lights our fire so that we can come off the mountain and light their fire. But sometimes if you're not careful, you can expect their fire to be already lit. Now it should be. But many times they won't always feel what you feel. They won't always see what you see. And that's why you have to understand you cannot get depressed, pastor. You cannot get upset because, hey, I've been up on this mountain. I had my shoes off because the ground was holy I was on. And I came down off this mountain with a word from the Lord. And you guys are not receiving me. Now, I've been through that. Now, I'm not saying not receiving you. I'm not saying that they're causing a coup or uprising. I'm just saying oftentimes you don't always get the response that you want after you come down from a high place in the Lord. And no one discusses that. Nobody talks. Everyone always talk about the God gave me a word. But what about when you come down from that place, and only people that understand that word is just you? You got to plow the ground, Pastor. You got to feed your sheep, knowing that what God gave you will bless your parishioners in the long run. But don't allow your emotions to get involved. And don't get like Moses, and get mad and smite the rock. Okay? Don't get mad like Moses and smite the rock. I could have called this message "Don't Smite the Rock," but I'm gonna say that for another time. But I want to just discuss the fact that there can be times when God gonna give you some strong stuff, man. Some powerful insight. God gonna give you gonna have some, and many of you have already you're gonna have some powerful moments in God. But guess what? I found out. You can't live there. When Jesus brought the disciples up to Mount Figuration, Peter and them guys saw them. They saw Jesus. They saw Moses. They saw Enoch, I believe, and I'm sorry, Elijah. I'm sorry. They saw them three, and they couldn't believe what they saw. They saw the mount. They saw the transfiguration. They saw into glory. They were baffled by it. But guess what? They couldn't live there. Even Jesus had to come out of that and come down to earth. How do you handle it when God gives you a heavenly experience and you come down to earth to a people who haven't experienced what you experience? You don't beat them up. You don't condemn them. You pray for the grace to bring them to the place where you are. That's all. Sometimes we get upset, and I listen, I know about this. I know how it feels. Now, if you haven't experienced this, I'm not talking to you. And if you haven't experienced this, maybe you will experience it. But there will be times when you're going to have an awesome experience with God. And you're going to say to yourself, when I come from this place, I'm going to come and I'm going to give this word, and people are going to be caught on fire. And many times that will happen that way. But what happens when you come from that place of power and fire and the folks that you minister to don't catch it? I'm here to tell you, you can still be a custodian of that fire by imparting that fire to your people. Don't get mad at them. They're going to come up. They will. But you can't afford to lose your temper. You can't afford to be depressed because you had an experience with God and they haven't gotten to that place yet. Don't worry, they'll get there. Keep being faithful, Pastor. Keep on pouring into them, for they will have, for they will have that experience that you had. Just keep on pouring into them. Keep on being faithful. Don't get mad. Let God do it.